Pelucranos is actually quite good in this matchup. Give it Death Touch, Monstrosity, pew, 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 shoot stuff down.
What's the mana cost on the... what's the mana cost? I know it's 1 mana, 1/1.
On the Blood Rush?
On the Blood
Single
Rush.
green.
Single green?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Give your guy +1/+2 and Death Touch. So, and I know that Brad used that to great effect at the Pro Tour, just stacking with Pelucranos. All right, use this. Give my guy Death Touch, Monstrosity for 2, kill both of your guys, your turn. Like, that's a great turn.
It is. It is. And I guess you can play it defensively, too, if you need to protect things.
Yeah, if you feel like you're getting beat down,
yeah,
drop that Death Touch guy out there.
Yeah, come on, Frostborn Weird. Yeah. Come out, let's do it. Let's see what you do here. But yeah, I don't think. And here you see 4 Stormbreath Dragon in Jared's deck. Not the greatest against this deck.
No,
not at all.
So after this first game does conclude, we'll be bringing it back to the booth as I will explain the rules and Shaheen will ask the question for the final trivia giveaway this morning, a full year. So make sure you do have Twitter at the ready. And, of course, you can always chat with us at SCG Live, hashtag SCGDAL for your tweets, as we are going to work our way towards crowning a champion. Hal Brady, your ace seed, he'll be on the draw. Jared LaCombe, Red White Devotion, he'll be on the play, but he's taking a mulligan so far. Hal looks happy. And these two players here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, it's been a long ride. 10 rounds of standard, 628 players, our largest open here in Texas. So we do appreciate everyone who did come out yesterday. We will appreciate everyone who does come out for our Legacy tournament as well. Stoneforge Mystic and friends, that's what you want?
Excited for some Legacy. I'm sure all the guys following on Twitter are excited to see some Stoneblade mirror matches. That's what I want to see. But actually, no one really plays the deck anymore. It's pretty much extinct. Such a great deck. It's funny because a big theme of the article is going to be it's the 45% deck. You're 45% against everything, and I don't agree with that. I think 45% is your worst matchup in that deck because there's no real tough matchups. You have every tool you need. You have Sword to Plowshares and all these things. Snapcaster Mage for creatures. You have Jaces of Force of Wills and Hand Disruption for the combo decks. So you're never just a super dog to anything. You have answers.
See a Temple of Triumph going to start here for LaCombe, a Forest into an Elvish Mystic. So a great start here for Brady as he's on the draw, be able to steal the initiative back with the Mana Accelerant. LaCombe is just going to pass the turn back, so we might have a very, very quick first game here between these two players. A Temple of Abandon comes in for Hal. He's going to add 2 mana. It's a Burning Tree Emissary into a Voyaging Satyr. Talk about a good draw.
Yeah, did Jared keep a 7 there?
No, he mulliganed a 6, and then he's just kept, he only has 1 land, so he is just fumbling and stumbling. And Burning Tree Emissary is going to start by getting into the red zone. Going to put LaCombe down to 18. Couple mana going to get tapped, 5 of them in fact, and we're going to see ourselves in Arbor Colossus. There is the 6/6 with Reach, and this is a card that can end the game before it even starts, as LaCombe does draw a mountain, but he's got nothing in his red-white deck that can really compete with a 6/6.
No, this is big-time dead right here.
Yeah.
You've pretty much... you mold a 6, you have a scry land, and I don't fault him for the keep. Going to 5, pretty rough. You're on the draw, you have 2 chances to hit a land. But I think the draw that Hal had, I don't care what his 6 Jared had, it'd be pretty rough to come back from this anyway.
There's a Burning Tree Emissary, there's a Nylea, and now you can see that's a 6/6 Trampler now, and there's really no coming back here for the red deck. And this is, again, this is how we feel this matchup is going to go from a standpoint of both players are going to just be goldfishing.
Yeah.
As you see, the Arbor Colossus, it is a 6/6 Trampler now because of Nylea, so he's going to deal 2 damage over to LaCombe. It's going to put him down to 16, as LaCombe's going to pass the turn back, likely draw a card. I wouldn't be surprised to see a concession here, but he's going to play a couple more turns out. There's a Frostburn Weird with Theatrics, as he's going to untap and pass.
Hey, draft card for your draft card here.
Absolutely.
And it looks like Hal's deck is in the Goldfish War. He has a lot more cards on the board, so I think he's probably doing a little bit better in that sense.
Absolutely. And now Hal's going to come into the red zone here with the Colossus, with the Nylea, a couple copies of Burning Tree Emissary. LaCombe's going to pick up his 3 permanents, and we're going to move on to a second game here. So Hal Brady does win game number 1 over Jared LaCombe. Green-Red Devotion up a game over Red-White Devotion. We're going to bring it back to the booth because it is question time. It is rules time. And so with the rules, of course, make sure you do have Twitter open because we're going to need you to tweet your answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live as well so we can get it over to the winner. Sheen's going to ask a question. And again, we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our finals match. So in about 8 or 9 seconds here is what it looks like. Yeah, not too long. But Sheen, fire away for 12 months.
Sure. All right, so we have a couple decks in the finals here. One of the decks is a Red-White Devotion deck. And in this particular deck, there's a card that transcends from aggro to control. There's a card, an enchantment, that is very, very good, and I love the enchantment. It's the whole reason why I'm playing blue, white, red control, and it's in his main deck and maybe one or two in his sideboard as well.
Okay.
So what is that enchantment that is not only as good in the aggro decks, but it's pretty good in the control decks too, and it's probably the reason why I'm playing the deck I'm playing. Also, it's very, very good against the mono black devotion deck. They really have no answer to this enchantment.
All right. Well, if you can name that enchantment, make sure you tweet your answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium. Make sure you're also following at SCG Live, and we will announce the winner at the conclusion of this finals match. As we're going to take a look at the sideboards very briefly here. You've got the red-white deck in front of you, so I will let you start there, my friend.
Okay. The set enchantment's not the greatest in this matchup when they have the board cluttered completely, especially when you don't really have any mana acceleration to get it out. So this enchantment is probably going to come out. I don't want to say it, obviously.
Yes.
We don't want to answer the trivia right now. But that's going to come out probably, as well as a few other, I guess, later dorks like the Storm Breath Dragon. Not the greatest in this matchup, even though it's a very, very fast, big card. Even though it has haste and you can sneak some damage in there, it's still 5 mana, still tough to get on the board and get swinging. So I can see a couple Storm Breath Dragons coming out as well. Chain to the Rocks is a definite in, and so is Mizium Mortars is going to come in because it kills a lot of the cards on the other side of the board, especially these early mana guys, because that's how the green-red devotion they beat you. They beat you by mana guy, mana guy, mana guy, unfair things. And if you take away the mana guys, which you can starting on turn 1 with Chain of the Rocks, you're in pretty good shape. So I think those removal spells are going to be coming in.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the green-red devotion deck, honestly, it's just kind of like a ramp deck. It kind of masquerades as doing a couple other things, but when this deck's working all cylinders, it's a ramp deck that's doing broken stuff. Not as good as, of course, as Primeval Titan Valakut, but I'm glad that's no longer with us.
Yeah, now you actually have to put some thought in your deck and talent. So you can't just play this guy and say, "Oh, you don't have anything? Yeah, you're dead."
Take a look at Brady's sideboard here. He's got 4 copies of Mistcutter Hydra, not particularly for this matchup. Same can be said for Nylea's Disciple. Burning Earth, also not great in this matchup. You've got Destructive Revelry, which can take care of Chain to the Rocks and other associated enchantments, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that one have come in. And again, Wasteland Viper, because I think the combo with that and Pelucranos is worth having. So we'll see if that does come in here in this matchup between Red Devotion and Red-White Devotion. And again, Hal Brady did win Game 1 very, very quickly over Jared LaCombe. So you see Jared's going to take a look at the sideboards here. Hal is shuffling up, so he's happy with where he's at. And we are almost to our standard open champion, my friend.
Yep, exciting. Green-Red Devotion, I like his chances coming into the top 80, though he's 8th seed, just because the advantage and edge it has over the other aggro decks. You're just bigger and better and faster for the most part. And you saw that last game. Even if Jared sculpted his 7-card hand, there's not much he can do to answer all these threats that come out with easy mana production as well. Like he could have had a Chain of the Rocks early, his one of, or maybe a Mizium Mortar to kind of offset Hal's chances. But with minus, if you don't have those, and you're playing a Rakdos Cackler and then an Ashdelt on the draw, and they have an Arbor Colossus on turn 3 on the play, how do you beat that? It's humongous.
You probably don't.
Yeah,
honestly.
As we've seen too. So Jared's definitely going to have to come out of the gates here. He's on the play, so he's going to have the ability to come crashing in with these early drops. And it's not really an option. If he wants to win this match, he's going to have to come out very, very fast and very, very reckless. So we'll see what happens here.
See, LaCombe is done taking a look at the deck list. So again, both players working with perfect information for each other. 75 here. And after the shuffling does end, we will be underway again. After this match is over, we'll announce our Twitter winner. We'll do an interview in the sideboard with Ruben Bressler and our champion. And then we'll be taking a short break for you guys. We'll be coming back with round 3 of Legacy action. We'll cover all the Swiss. And then we'll move on to our elimination rounds for Legacy 2, in which we'll be giving away 3 months of premium in the quarterfinals, 6 months in the semis, and of course the full year in the finals. And we'll crown ourselves a Legacy Open champion before we do make our way back home. I know you'll be heading back to Virginia.
Back to Virginia for the Classic next weekend in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
For those who are in the Virginia or East Coast area who wants to come battle in a nice little competitive tournament here in my neck of the woods, come on down. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it should be an absolute blast.
It will be. And there's also PTQ in the same area the next weekend after.
Oh, wow. Them battles.
Yeah, we're
You're
battling.
You're going to get your magic on, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm ready. I took a few months off. Now I'm ready to go. Also, we have the Vegas Invitational I'll be at. I'm sure you'll be there as well.
I'll be doing coverage there with Osa Bobadovich and Matthias Hunt. Going to be an absolute blast anytime we have a tournament in Vegas. You know I'm going to be there.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, can't pass
up
Vegas.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You and Osip too. It's a wild bunch.
It's trouble.
Yeah.
It can be trouble.
Yep.
Jared LaCombe going to start with a Sacred Foundry. Here is a Wasteland Viper. You see that Hal's going to take a look. We'll take a look at it too. The 1/2 Death Toucher. was a pretty good card in its limited format, and doesn't see a lot of constructed play, but it is a nice combo of Pelucranos and Domri.
Yeah, and if Jared has any of his hasted guys or Reckoners, it's not going to do too much in this matchup. It's not going to do much of an Ash Zealot or Boris Reckoner, but it does stop Burning Tree Emissary draws. We obviously don't have a Cackler because he would have played it last turn, but it stops Frostborn Weird as well. So you're going to see a lot of different things that can stop on the ground, but he's hoping he doesn't see any first striking on his side. Obviously, it adds to the Green Devotion as well.
Well, there is a Burning Tree Emissary, as you did mention, and now there's a Missing Mortar taking
Wow.
out the Viper. So that's like a win for the Viper.
That was the best Viper I've ever seen in my life. That is something that, I mean, here probably is a Voyaging Satyr, which is something you'd much rather Mizium Mortar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously it's going to kill your Burning Tree Emissary, but these burn spells in Jared's deck, these removal spells are far and few between. You really got to save these. In a control deck, you kind of just willy-nilly throw your removal spells around. When you're an aggro deck and you don't have any card draw, you have to use them with extreme carefulness. You cannot just toss them out there and just, kill anything you see.
Nykthos has shown up to the party here. Now, it's not going to generate a lot of mana this turn, as there's a Scavenging Ooze, but it can generate a lot of mana in the following turns. It's just going to pass the turn back with the green mana open, and that Voyaging Satyr at the ready as well. So Ooze is going to be able to grow up to be a 3/3 here. It can remove that Wasteland Viper, pretty much making Burning Tree Emissary obsolete on attacking and defense, but Burning Tree Emissary does have double red in its casting cost, so Devotion, a Nykthos maybe from LaCombe, that's a real thing.
Yep, and LaCombe is obviously not able to do things with his Devotion like Hal is able to do. The Devotion simply just burns Hal a little bit, But on Hal's side, the Devotion adds mana. It does things with the God, of course, and he's going to have all these opportunities to make silly things happen if left unchecked.
So Burning Tree Emissary is going to get in the red zone, and we see that Hal says, all right, I'm going to eat my Wasteland Viper and block your guy. So down goes the Emissary. Reckoner going to come across for 3 points of damage. Interesting trade there. A little bit surprised to see that happen.
He must have not seen He must have forgot about the Wasteland Viper.
Yeah. Boros Gilgate going to come into play tapped. Here's 2 mana. Follow-up is going to be a Mizium Mortars taking out the Scavenging Ooze. So some bad sequencing there.
Yeah.
And now the Scavenging Ooze is going to eat the Burning Tree Emissary, and then it's going to die. So some poor sequencing there from LaCombe, basically getting 2 for 1 by Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're in the finals, you're pretty up pretty early, played a lot of Magic yesterday, and sometimes these tournaments, people don't realize that watching at home, or even I don't realize when I'm watching, when I'm doing coverage, is that they take it out of you. I mean, it's a lot of Magic, so a lot of times you'll kind of get tunnel vision there, and the red players like attack, and oh wait, your guy's bigger than mine. Whoops.
You see the new legendary rule coming into effect there. There's a Nykthos that was already in play, so Voyaging Satyr. So what happens is, you tap the 3 land, you play the Nykthos. You let the old one go, you let the new one come into play, add another land, add another mana there. Then Voyaging Satyr is going to untap a 4, so I can play Arbor Colossus. The 6/6 is in play. And the other thing that's big there, Shaheen, is that 1, 2, 3 Devotion from the Colossus, so a total of 4. And in combination with Voyaging Satyr, things can get out of control here.
We're about to see crazy things happen. I think Hal is hoping he draws some kind of red source as well, because 2 of his Planeswalkers depend on red mana, but the rest of his deck does not, and it's all green. So pretty much minus his 2 cards, I think we see 3 Planeswalkers in his hand.
Yeah, he's got a Garruk, he's got a Destructive Revelry, he's got a Domri in his hand as well, so he's just looking for red mana right now, or a Burning Tree Emissary, of course, be able to generate that red mana. Destructive Revelry there, not going to do too much, but he is ready for a Chain of the Rocks in case it does show up.
He can play Garruk next turn, right?
He can.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what we're gonna do. Oh, there's another Colossus. That's another good play. Maybe the Colossus is probably better because I'd rather have a gigantic creature out there because we already have enough gas. We just need red mana at this point. Then again, if you hit a Burning Tree Emissary off the Garruk, then you're in real good shape. So either one I see is fine. I mean,
I like establishing the Planeswalker because there's not a great way for LaCombe to actually get to the Planeswalker. It's just going to see the top 5 cards come off the top of the deck. There's a Wasteland Viper, Pelucranos, and a Sylvan Caryatid. But I like the fact that there's no real great way for him to get over to the Garruk.
No,
like if Reckoner's going to come in, you just go, fine, it's down to 2.
Yeah, good luck killing it.
Yeah.
And, it's such a huge thing. Look at these. Look at the cards on Hal's side. They're just bigger. They're more efficient. And Jared really preys on the Esper decks. I think you have this Paper Rock Scissors thing we talked about a lot yesterday, where Green Red Devotion wants to dodge Esper all day. Jared LaCombe, he's begging for Esper. He's like, come on, let's go. I got my Ash Gels ready. I got my Storm Breath Dragons. I got my early aggro stuff. So I want to play against Esper all day, and Hal doesn't. But now they met, and if the whole matchup theory holds true here, Groomer Devotion is just outclassing kind of the red-white Devotion, card-wise anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see the power level of the cards on the green-red side are just much higher. And now you see Boris Reckner. All right, are you going to come and get me? Is that what you're going to do?
Bring it on. Let's do it.
Yeah. You want some? Come get some. Garrick will go down to 2. Won't even kill it.
Nope. And there's just no reason to block. Arbor Colossus doesn't like to block a Boris Reckoner.
Yeah.
6 damage flying back some way.
I don't think Arbor Colossus has any intentions of trading with that Minotaur Wizard. We'll see, though, of course.
Right. Never know.
And that's going to go down to 2. And the other thing, too, is that, he can't kill it, and Garrick's also going to provide Devotion. That's the big thing now, because Nykthos, as you're going to see, this come off the top, Caryatid, a Pelucranos, a Forest, a Burning Emissary, and a Forest. So now 3 more cards
there's the red mana he needs, and we can see fighting happening. We can see Domri come down and just handle some business here. And again, you just have tons of mana. Let's see how much Devotion. We got 3, 4, 5, 6 Devotion.
Yep, and the Satyr being in play,
too. The Satyr being in play.
Also, we haven't even accounted for Burning Emissary, the trigger,
right.
So that's going to happen, too.
8 Devotion. So he's going to use 2 of that mana.
Going to get out of control now.
Yep. That's 8, 6. So he can pretty much play his whole hand.
Let's just say infinite. Yeah.
Feels like infinite.
Yeah, depends on how he uses red mana to filter through. But other than that, let's say that he's got a bunch of mana. Here's an Arbor Colossus. 14 mana floating. So let's -5. So now there's 9.
I mean, this is just not fair. Hey, when you're playing the red-white deck, you're looking at this stuff. You're like, I can't do any of those things. It's not fair.
You got to throw some monstrosity in there too. Now there's a Sylvan Caryatid, so that'll give him red for the rest of the game. Attack step. Say hello to my Colossus friend.
9/9, and actually most Colossus there's a couple 9/9 Colossuses throughout history here.
Colossus Sardia.
Yeah, we got the artifact one.
Yeah.
So he's going to chump block. Never a good sign when we're chump blocking here.
Yeah, chump blocking with the Devotion provider.
Yeah, this is something where Jared, again, just the cards are just too good on the other side of the board.
Yeah, and again, we felt like this could happen because it's a situation where LaCombe has to be the aggressive deck and get off with a Cackler and an SL type start, but a green deck kind of laughs at those cards.
Yeah, they
As
do.
you mentioned, Sylvan Caryatid, Pelucranos, things of that nature, and these decks are both just going to be goldfishing, and we can see here over these 2 games, one of these decks is better than goldfishing than the other.
Oh yeah, I mean when there's no verdict in sight, you're going to see silly things happen from the green red Devotion player. Oh, you don't have a verdict? Let me just I'm going to add 14 mana. I'm going to play these 17 cards in my hand and, untap it, add 14 more mana. I mean, things happen that shouldn't happen in Magic, and we're seeing that clearly on the Green Red Devotion side.
One thing that's kind of scary for me, and, we see the Devotion deck in action here, a great deck designed by Makihiro Mahara, is, Nykthos is obviously a terrifying card.
It is.
There's a big difference between this deck when it has Nykthos and when it doesn't, and it's going to beg the question as thinking ahead here from Born to the Gods and the Block Pro Tour and stuff like that, as Garrick is going to turn over a couple more cards and only find 1 this time. Is Nykthos is going to be a staple for a little while here, and we've only got more Devotion cards coming. This is going to be a scary card moving forward, man.
Oh yeah, I'm petrified of it. When it was printed, I actually was one of the few that looked at that card and said, this is not going to be good news for us.
Yeah.
Because any land that produces mana, like even a weaker land like Cabal Coffers back in the day that required all swamps, made mono black a super powerful deck back in the day. We're talking about with Mirari ancient times here. But still a great card, great deck. This land is way better than Cabal Coffers.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the world of Devotion. So it is a petrifying card, and I hope that it doesn't get too good, because I think it's cool. And I don't think Wizards is above banning cards that have too much power level, especially when it comes to mana. Mana is one of those things where things that are free costed, things that produce too much mana or net gain of too much, they're not afraid to ban those cards. So we might see that in the future.
Because you just watch this game. This is just a display of exactly what Nykthos can do when it's obviously both the red deck doesn't really line up very well, but when you've got Devotion decks and, all this stuff and the amount of mana that one card can generate right now, you've got 12 mana floating. Let's make it 13 with the Caryatid. That might be coming down for red, but the things that you can do are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mahara. Mahara's actually, I first met him at Worlds 2006. He's the one I intentionally drew with in the final round for me to get 9th place. And he actually won Worlds that year. So.
Yeah, with Dragonstorm.
Yeah, so shout out to Mahara. You're welcome for putting in top 8. And it's not like I think about it every day in depression. So.
I didn't think you would.
No.
I didn't think it would be that big of a deal.
Just every day.
Domri going to come into play. Wasteland Viper also going to come in. And now you got a fight between a weak snake and a Boros Reckoner.
He's reading it to see if First Strike comes into play. It does not. But Death Touch does, however.
And he wants to make sure he knows exactly what's doing the damage. And Domri causes 2 creatures to fight. That's what happens there.
Yep. So Jared could destroy the Viper in response to prevent it from happening. But I think Jared is he's kind of hanging out right now. Just I mean, congratulations, he's made it to the finals of an SCG Open.
Yeah.
628-man SCG Open.
Absolutely.
10 rounds. He's definitely earned his way to the finals. And this is just a matchup where you just run into a brick wall.
Yeah, and that's really how it feels, right? Where it's just a matchup that is so tough for you to win. As Wasteland Viper and the Domri are going to end up dying, but the more important part is that the Reckoner has been taken care of. Oh, by the way, 10 mana floating here for Brady.
I still got a little mana left. I mean, a little bit left.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been able to tap for 10 mana.
No. -2 is 8. 8 plus, I think, 12 now, so there's going to be let's say there's an endless supply of mana.
Right.
Let's say that you can do whatever you want. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, we have our side. So
19 floating.
Yeah,
Make
so
it 15.
All right. I feel like we're playing Storm combo. He's on the right here. He's got his mana notches here. He's
green Storm combo.
Yeah, what's Storm count right now? I wonder. So we'll keep.
This is. I feel like he was putting him in submission hold there. Just saying, I'm just gonna keep doing stuff until you give up. But either way, Hal Brady, Star City Games, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, Standard Open champion. Congratulations to you.